most of our progress this time around has centered around the video viewing page, and so I'll refresh it soon to give you the anticipation. But I guess I'll start off first. Most of what we had to do in this iteration was working on the back end, architecting that a bit more cleanly. So what we've done is basically set it up so where we have express routing everything. Well, everything that's an API passes through an API router handler, and that handler then will deliver everything to the specific controllers to determine, whether or not we need to create a video, edit a video, things like that. And so the specific endpoints that we've targeted for this one is going to be, say, adding a comment to a video, answering a question, which is essentially a response to a video, and then some tweaks and modifications to the creating a video aspect. And so as you can see here, all of our tests are passing at least in context of these 4 endpoints. And so we're mostly doing validation checks for empty data and making sure the username is a proper user, and then making sure that in the case of a comment, we want to restrict it to 500 characters. That's just kind of a rough limit we had, just so that we have a test working. And then as far as the routing goes, we are able to, unfortunately, I don't know if I'll be able to send this, but so we don't have any users right now, but this is just for purposes of showing that the routing is working. So Postman is just a way to mock HTTP requests. And then so obviously we're getting an invalid user because the username ggeorge isn't in the database right now because it's empty. And so that's just a way to show that. And then so as far as who worked on what, the add comment feature was worked on by Animal, and then the schemas were also updated with some methods in Mongoose and that was work done by Eric. For specifically when you add a video, we want a function to be called after a new video is added to then recalculate which tags have which values, so that once we connect that to the upload page, we can see and have like a ranked list of which tags have what values, so that we can kind of steer people towards using ones that have more hits. And then the responses work was done by George. And so this is what we've done for this iteration. We so I don't know what you want. My cursor is not working, so this is really kind of problematic. No. So I guess we can play it. Let's not play it. I guess can we go here? I honestly don't know what to do without my cursor. I guess I could just jack this. I don't know why the cursor isn't working.
Oops. Thank you.
Because most of the functionality comes from specific events. So a lot of what we focused on are 4 core. Yeah, see, it's working, but it's not. It's moving, but it's. So I guess we can wait. So we'll do this. Okay, this will work fine. So essentially, the core concept of the questions is that they have an associated timestamp. So once I get to, I'll move it eventually to 2 minutes, and then it'll change the question. So the idea is you only have the question pop up whenever the specific timestamp occurs, and then that's mostly to try to ensure that people are answering the questions when they're supposed to be, so they're not just running through the questions. Obviously, I guess there's potentially a world in which you could do that, but the amount of work that would be involved in that is more than I think is really necessary to try to account for. And so we have just a basic video description that's coming in from this video. We also have the embedded video, and then we have comments as well. So I guess just to show how the video comments will be done, at 2 minutes, you'll see it shift to the second question. And then, so this is just an example of how obviously it changes. And then there's one more example, which I guess yeah, so we'll do it there as well. And then here, if I can tap there, It's not gonna be able to work. Ugh. I don't know why I'm not gonna be able to show you. It's kind of unfortunate. But the timestamps are automatically parsed to then work as buttons to basically change where the player is in the view. And then if I can add a comment, test comment. There's also timestamp associated with the comments as well. And so once we have some better mock data, we can feed in comments and then have the comments populate in real time. Similar to a Facebook Live video, this is to more simulate the realisticness of watching someone actually perform instead of writing comments that are just kind of generic. Because then, but for purposes of the person viewing the video, we're going to have them be we're not going to have them be time based, because obviously if I'm a person who it's my video, then we don't want to be able to have to wait through each second to see which comments are which, and so we'll have a different way of sorting through those. But and then the work for the next iteration will be mostly linking up since we have the test passing, to link up the APIs to add comments to an existing video, and more API integrations of that nature. Yeah, I mean, I wish the cursor was working. I guess there'd be a bit more functionality to be had, but that's mostly what we have.
Okay, thank you.